all platforms here on WFLA Now.
All right, good afternoon and welcome to the Frank and Pam Bearfield Training Center. I'm Captain Keith Sescaleba, that's spelled Keithczeskleba, with the Hoover Police Department. Joining me at the podium today will be Hoover Mayor Frank Brocato, spelled Brocato, and Hoover Police Chief Nick Durzis, spelled Derzis. You may also hear from Lieutenant Daniel Lowe, spelled Lowe, of the Hoover Police Investigations Division. Mayor Brocato will make a brief opening statement, and then Chief Durzis will read a prepared statement. After Chief's statement is complete, there will be an opportunity to ask a few questions regarding this investigation. Keep in mind that this is still an ongoing investigation, so there may be some questions that we cannot answer. With that, I will turn it over to Mayor Brocato.
Thank you and good afternoon for you all coming today. You know, 6 days ago, our community learned about the disappearance of Carlee Russell, and it sent fear and pandemonium not just through our city, but the entire state and the nation as well. The media quickly joined us to get the word out about Carlee. Our community sprung into action, and they organized search parties, arranged prayer vigils, and they took other steps that I'm not even aware of to help in this situation. The Hoover Police Department quickly rallied multiple partner agencies, stopping at nothing to find Carlee. I'd like to take this time to say thank you first to the Hoover Police Department, our partner agencies, our wonderful community, and to all those that aided in some way in connection with this situation. As the days have gone on and more information has been shared, we know everyone has questions. The Hoover Police Department is known for being very methodical and thorough with their speaking in detail publicly until now. It is important that we share this information now so that our community can be put at ease. So at this time, I'll turn the microphone over to Hoover Police Chief Nick Durzis. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank everyone for being here today. Besides me stands the team who played a significant role in this investigation. I want to thank our department, members of surrounding local law enforcement agencies, the FBI, Secret Service, United States Marshals, and LEA for their assistance in this case. We said from the evening of July 3rd, our focus would be the safe return of Carlee Russell. Occurred on Saturday, July 15th, approximately 49 hours after she called 911 and disappeared. From that point, our focus has been to determine Carlee's whereabouts during that time and what exactly took place. Let me say up front, this investigation is not over. We're still working this case, and we'll work in this case until we uncover every piece of evidence that helps us account for the 49 hours that Carlee Russell was missing. However, through the public interest, and in some cases, public fear that this story has generated, we owe it to our citizens to tell them the facts that we have uncovered. So I will give you the facts that we know today. On July 13th, at approximately 8:20 p.m., Carlee left work from a business at the Summit. Surveillance video from her place of employment shows Carlee concealed a dark-colored bathrobe, a roll of toilet paper, and other items belonging to the business prior to her departure. She ordered food from Taziki's at the Colonnade and traveled there. She then traveled to Target on 280, where she purchased some granola bars and Cheez-Its. From there, she remained in the parking lot at that shopping center until 9:21 p.m. when she drove to I-459. Carlee communicated on her cell phone with individuals known to her while on her path of travel up to the point of calling 911 at 9:34 p.m. And at this time, we will play the 911 call in its entirety.
Interstate 459, and there's just a kid just walking by themselves.
Oh, hold on. Where on 49 are you?
I'm right next to the exit 10 by the Hoover Med, like to get off by the Hoover Med.
Okay, so you're before the exit?
Yes,
Okay, were you headed southbound or northbound? Like towards Tuscaloosa or towards 280?
towards Tuscaloosa,
Okay, and was the child on the left or right side?
on the right side.
Were they walking northbound or southbound?
They're walking towards Tuscaloosa.
Walking southbound, or how old do they look?
Like a toddler, like maybe like 3 or 4.
Did you pull over with them, or are you still with them?
Yes.
Okay, are you with the child right now?
No, I'm not. I didn't get out of the car. I can see them though.
Do you mind staying and keeping an eye on them until we get there?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Okay, what kind of car are you in?
I'm in a red Mercedes-Benz
Is it a sedan or SUV?
SUV. I mean, it's a sedan, sorry.
Can you put your hazards on for me?
Yeah, they're on.
Okay, did you talk to the child at all, or did you say anything to them?
No,
Okay,
no,
do they look like they're injured?
no, they don't.
Are they white, black, Hispanic, or Asian?
They're white.
Okay. Is it male or female?
I think it's a boy, a little boy.
White male, okay, so is he wearing clothes?
Yes.
Okay. What is he wearing?
It's a white t-shirt, and it doesn't look like he has any pants on. It looks like a diaper.
And you don't see any cars anywhere?
No, no cars anywhere.
Okay. All right, what's your name?
My name is Carlee Russell, but I can't really see them that good.
Okay, try to keep an eye on them for the best you can, because I don't want you to lose track of them.
Okay.
All right, and do they have shoes on?
No,
Shoes?
not that I can see. I can't really see that. Look.
Okay. All right, I've got them on the way, okay? Just try to keep an eye on them, but the officers are on the way, okay?
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Carlee called a relative after speaking with the 911 operator. She went missing during that conversation sometime after 9:36 p.m. Traffic camera footage was obtained, which depicted this portion of the incident, and that footage was analyzed as part of the investigation in conjunction with the 911 call and cell phone data to accurately determine the time frame. Carlee's 911 call remains the only report of a child on the interstate, despite numerous vehicles passing through the area at that time. No one has called to report that a child is missing, and the Hoover Police Department did not locate any evidence of a small child walking down the interstate. Data from Carlee's phone, including her Life 360 app, shows that she traveled approximately 600 yards in her vehicle while she was on the phone with 911, stating that she was following a child. 600 yards. That is 6 football fields straight, 600 yards. The Hoover 911 Center received a second call from Carlee's mother, stating that a relative was on the phone with her when they heard Carlee scream, and then they had an open phone line. Hoover police officers arrived on the scene within 5 minutes of being dispatched, and several other officers arrived shortly. They located Carlee's wig and cell phone in the grass near the vehicle. Her purse was located in the front seat of her vehicle with her Apple Watch in the purse. The food she ordered for Tzatziki's was also in the car. The items she purchased from Target, as well as the items taken from her place of employment, were not in the vehicle, nor were they located anywhere around the scene. Hoover police deployed all available assets from the point in the search for Carlee. Additional resources were called in to include our own drone unit, crime scene investigators. Numerous detectives responded to the scene. Throughout the day Friday, officers from surrounding local and federal agencies assisted Hoover police in the search for Carlee Russell. Officers returned to the scene on 459 to conduct a thorough line search for evidence. K-9 teams from the Jefferson County Sheriff's Department responded to check for any sign of Carlee, the child that she claimed to see, and anything else that could be considered evidence in this case. Those searches all turned up empty. Private citizens, including search parties organized by our family, friends, began looking everywhere that they could to find any trace. These searches took place throughout the day Friday and again on Saturday, yielding nothing. At 10:44 p.m. on July 15th, the Hoover 911 center receives a call from Carlee's residence stating that she returned home on foot. In subsequent investigations, detectives obtained surveillance footage of Carlee walking down the sidewalk alone prior to arrival at her residence. She was conscious and speaking with paramedics when she was transported to UAB. Detectives were able to obtain a brief statement from her prior to being treated and released. During the statement, she told detectives that while traveling down the interstate, she saw a baby walking down the side of the road and called 911. She stated when she got out of her vehicle to check on the child, a man came out of the trees and mumbled that he was checking on the baby. She claimed that the man then picked her up and she screamed. She stated he then made her go over a fence. She claims he then forced her into a car, and the next thing she remembers is being in the trailer of an 18-wheeler. She stated that the male was with a female. However, she never saw the female, only hearing her voice. She also told detectives she could hear a baby crying. She told detectives the male had orange hair with a big bald spot on the back. She said she was able to escape the 18-wheeler and fled on foot, only to be captured again and then was put in a car. She claimed she was then blindfolded but was not tied up because the captor said they did not want to leave impressions on her wrists. She said that they took her into a house and made her get undressed. She believes they took pictures of her, but she does not remember them having any physical or sexual contact. She stated the next day she woke up and was fed cheese crackers by the female. She said the woman also played with her hair, but could not remember anything else. At some point, she was put back in a vehicle she claims was able to escape while it was in the West Hoover area. She told detectives she ran through lots of woods until she came out near her residence. During this interview, detectives noted that Carlee had a small injury to her lip, and she claimed that her head was hurting. She also had a tear in her shirt. Detectives also noted that she had $107 cash in her right sock. Out of respect for Carlee and her family, detectives did not press for additional information in this interview and made plans to speak with her in detail after giving her time to rest. Detectives continue analyzing data from Carlee's cell phone that was left behind at the scene. We enlisted the help of the United States Secret Service in conducting this analysis. Part of what data includes several internet searches in the days leading up to her disappearance that I think are very relevant to this case. On July 11th at 7:30 a.m., the term, "Do you have to pay for an Amber Alert?" was searched. On July 13th at 1:03 a.m., the day of her disappearance, the term, "How to take money from a register without being caught," was searched. On July 13th at 2:13 a.m., the day of her disappearance, the term Birmingham bus station was searched. On July 13th, 2:35 a.m., a search for a one-way bus ticket from Birmingham to Nashville was conducted with a departure date of July 13th. On July 13th at 12:10 p.m., a search for the movie Taken, a film about abduction, was conducted. There were two searches related to Amber Alerts on a computer at Carlee's place of employment, including one regarding the maximum age of an Amber Alert. There were other searches on Carlee's phone that appeared to shed some light on her mindset, but out of respect for her privacy, we will not be releasing the content of those searches at this time. We've asked to interview Carlee a second time, but have not been granted that request. As you can see, there are many questions left to be answered, but only Carlee can provide those answers. What we can say is that we've been unable to verify most of Carlee's initial statement made to investigators, and we have no reason to believe that there is a threat to the public safety related to this particular case. Thank you very much.
With that, we'll open the floor to some questions. Please raise your hand and I will call on you. Carol.
Chief, do you expect any charges against Carlee Russell in connection with the disappearance and in connection with what was taken from the Woodhouse call?
Right now, our focus is to determine those 49 hours, so the investigation continues. So to be perfectly honest with you, that hasn't even entered our mind or been discussed.
One more question. Is it surprising to you that the family has not been cooperative in returning to be questioned?
Well, I think the family stated to us that they didn't think that in her mental state right now, because of trauma of the incident, that she's not ready to talk, is what we've been told.
Go ahead, sir. Yeah, question for Chief. You stated that the abductor had orange hair. Was this abductor black male? Was it female, black female, white female?
I believe it's a white male. Am I correct by saying that? Was it ever? Yeah, white male.
Is this alleged abductor yet on loose in the Hoover area?
Don't believe so.
Yes, ma'am.
Chief Bernadino, WBRC, has a toxicology report been done, and were any drugs or illegal substances found in her system?
We have no report of that.
Is any indication of mental illness in this case?
Not that I'm aware of.
There's been a concern in the community that if this turned out not to be a true story, that the next time a young woman of color was missing, that it might not be taken seriously. How would you respond to that?
I'd respond to say that we investigate every crime to the fullest, just like we have this one.
Was she traveling with anyone? Excuse me, was she traveling with anyone since the time she disappeared, to your knowledge?
And not to my knowledge.
Chief, I know you said you weren't able to verify a lot of aspects of the story. Where do you think she went? And how would you characterize what happened here?
You know, that's the $100 question. You know, we pretty much know exactly what took place from the time she left work until she got on the 911 call, and we can see getting out of the car on the interstate from that footage. And after that, I think she only knows. We don't know.
Well, one quick follow-up. Her parents. Did you speak with Carlee's parents? And why do you think it is they were so adamant that there was an abductor?
Yeah, I think parents are believing what their daughter's saying, and we've had a very good rapport with the parents, met with them on several occasions. I've talked to them today a few times, and to make them understand that we're under pressure from our community, not only in our community of the state, but nationally when the story hit. And I just wanted them to understand that today we were going to have a press conference, and what we were going to detail today are facts. And everything that I've told you today is actual facts. It's not innuendos. It's not what I think. It's not what these detectives think. It is the factual information that we have. Well, I think our detectives have talked to the parents, and we're ready. We're ready to talk as soon as she's ready. So, you know, she called right now. We're ready.
One word to describe what went on. What would that be?
How about unknown? You know, we know the facts that we have. Everything else is unknown at this time.
What have the past few days been like for you, your department? This has been a stressful search.
Well, absolutely. And again, the focus of the investigation that Thursday when she went missing, of course, the focus was to get Carlee home. That's what we want all. We wanted her safe and sound. And that's all happened. And then, of course, this has gotten to be not only a local state story, but a national story. So, you know, it's a lot of stress on everyone in the Hoover Police Department, and the mayor, to every citizen here. We want to know the truth.
As you stand here, are you frustrated?
I wouldn't say I'm frustrated. I mean, I'm very happy that Carlee's home. That was the main ingredient here. And then we'll figure it out. I promise you that. We'll end up figuring it out.
Any idea about the number of manpower hours or the expense of the drones and all the rest of the search that might have cost the city and state and federal government?
Yeah, we haven't had time to consider that, but it's you know, again, these detectives that are here, this is just a small group of people that have been associated with this case. We have put every available resource that we have on this case because we wanted to make sure that we found out everything. We wanted to get her home, and we have.
Chief, was there any prior indication of mental health problems?
Not that I'm aware of.
Can you just expand on the people from the state, federal resources brought in? What were they doing exactly as you all were searching for? Can you just expand on that?
Sure. A lot of the from the FBI side, several agents helping us interview. I mean, as you well know, in a case like this, especially when it goes national, we got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of calls. And when you get those calls, some of them may just be outlandish, but you've got to to follow up on them, because you never know that you may get that one tidbit. And I'd also say too that we had a great cooperation with the family. The family received hundreds and hundreds of tips, and every time they got a tip, they sent it to us.
Would you say a crime has been committed?
No, we have not determined that. No.
Keith Mims, WAGG 610 Summit Media. Question for Chief, with all of the searches that you mentioned, Chief, that were on Carlee's phone, does that kind of give you an indication of her mind state during this ordeal, 48 hours
Yeah.
that she went missing?
Well, again, we want to talk in facts, and I do think it's highly unusual to the day that someone gets kidnapped, that 7 hours, 8 hours before that they're searching the internet, Googling the movie Taken about an abduction. I find that very, very strange. Yes.
Do you feel confident, your investigators feel confident that you know why Carlee Russell may have done this?
No, we do not know. Absolutely not.
Chief, can you explain for us, you mentioned that while you said Carlee was on the front line with one, she was traveling 6 football fields, which tells you what?
Which tells me that I've had kids, and I'm sure a lot of people here have, and it's very, very, again, she said it, and I'm not saying it couldn't happen, because I've always been one of these guys, never say never, but 6 football fields. I like athletics, I like football. 6 football fields. To think that a toddler, barefoot, that could be 3 or 4 years old, is going to travel 6 football fields without getting in the roadway, without crying, without any just moving down. It's just very hard for me to understand.
Chief, have you used any technology to enhance that video from 459, and did you see a man grab her?
We did not see, from what we can tell, we don't see anybody on the interstate other than her car and then someone getting out of her driver's side. We have sent that off to the FBI for enhancement. It has not been returned.
Do you think in this case that charges will be forthcoming towards Carlee Russell? And how serious of a crime is it to not only fabricate a 911 call, but to lie to law enforcement during an investigation?
Well, again, that's not something that we've been discussed since we're going through the still investigation. But people have to understand that when someone says something like this, we put every available resource. Everybody comes together from, like I say, state, local, federal. It's just a lot of work, and the gentleman earlier said frustrated. I mean, it is a little frustrating to think that all this has been done and we can't find anything out.
Did anyone see her calling in from the side of the road when she made that 911 call?
No, not to my knowledge.
All right, last question here.
Is this investigation held up until you can speak once again, Carlee Russell?
Well, there's a few things that we're still doing, but obviously we want to talk to Carlee as soon as we can and do an in-depth interview. And at that time, I think we'll have these investigators doing some other things. So
All right, that's all the questions we're going to answer today. We appreciate you guys coming, and we'll be following up with y'all later. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time, Chief.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Breaking news on WFLA Now. Here is JV Buno.
Carlee Russell claims she was abducted by a man who emerged out of the woods along I-459 Thursday night, but missing items, a troubling Google search history, and a lack of a second interview with law enforcement leave investigators and the public with doubts as to whether or not her story is true. Hello there, folks. JB here with you live on WFLA Now across all platforms as we try to process so much of what we have learned, but also so little as to what exactly happened Thursday night when Carlee Russell vanished alongside I-459, calling 911, claiming to see a white boy clothed walking along the interstate before a man emerged out of the woods, abducted her, took her back to an 18-wheeler, followed by a second recapturing, all leading up to her turning up on foot Saturday night at her home in Hoover, Alabama. Tremendous amounts of questions in our comment section. We're going to do our very best to go through them. And we're going to try, of course, to stay as fact-based as possible here, even though so many people have been commenting at me over the course of this live stream, sharing with me that they do not believe that Carlee Russell has been telling the truth as far as what exactly happened to her. This is still an open investigation. Hoover police are continuing to investigate. But right now, they were very honest in their press conference in saying that they want to have another interview with Carlee. They want an opportunity to ask her more questions, and they have not been able to ask her more questions since they had communications with her on Saturday night when she turned up at her parents' house. We're going to go through a lot of what we just learned. I'm going to go through kind of the highlights here. But look, kudos to the Hoover Police Department. They shared a lot of their ongoing investigation and a lot that I'm on to multiple pages of notes. So I'm going to kind of give everybody the highlights, and then we're going to go to your comments, what people are saying out there. Here on WFLA Now, we're very, very cognizant of our comment section. We do not shy away from your social media comments. We want to be with you there in the social media comment section and speak to what you're saying out there. So interactively, we're going to do that with hashtag HJB momentarily. Carlee Russell is said to have left her, again, all this according to the press conference, said to have left work with a bathrobe and a toilet roll ordered from the Taziki's restaurant. She also picked up granola bars and Cheez-Its from a Target before she made the 911 call on the side of the road. Now, we heard the 911 call, and that was also unexpected as far as this press conference. The Hoover Police Department being very open and transparent and sharing that 911 call with the public and with the media. You hear her say on the 911 call that the boy was 3 or 4 years old. She said that she was very seemed to be, in my opinion, listening to her, she seemed very calm as she made this phone call to 911. She was saying that she was staying in the car, that she was driving a red Mercedes-Benz. She indicated that her name was Carlee Russell. The 911 operator asked her to put her hazards on. That is often a tactic to help law enforcement identify a vehicle on the side of the road that they are looking for. After the hazards were put on, the boy was described as being clothed but with no shoes. And then, of course, we get the story about her abduction, but really have to point out there from the police chief that they have the Life 360 data that says that she was following the child on the interstate for 600 yards. It's a long way. If you use end zones, it's more like it's about 5 to 6 football fields, depending on how you look at it. They found the food there from Taziki's, but they didn't find the snacks from Target. They didn't find the robe in the vehicle, and they didn't find the toilet roll that she took with her. All very, of course, curious mentions here in this press conference. Now, Carlee's story. This is her story. Man coming out of the woods or out of the trees, taking her to a trailer of an 18-wheeler where she heard a female voice, a baby crying. Then she was able to flee on foot, but was captured again. She was taken into a house at that point. She believes that pictures were taken with her, that the woman was then playing with her hair before she turned up on Saturday night. She was able to get away in some capacity in West Hoover. Now, police, over the course of their investigation, looked into the internet searches, the internet search history of Carlee Russell. And those internet searches clearly are troubling as far as what we're looking at here. Say, Googling, do you have to pay for an Amber Alert, about stealing from a register, about the age of an Amber Alert, about getting a ticket to Nashville, a bus ticket to Nashville on July the 13th, and then doing a lot of research on the movie Taken, according to law enforcement. And then law enforcement adding that they'd like to clarify a lot of what Carlee told them, but they have not been granted the second request for an interview. And they do not believe that a threat to public safety exists right now. Also, follow-up notes here from my notes, and then we'll get to your comments. No previous history of mental health, no determination that a crime has taken place. So a lot to break down here. We found out so much and also still know so little. But we have been asking you on YouTube Live, do you believe that Carlee Russell was abducted? And there's there is tremendous, that provides us, everybody, with an idea as to how many people believe Carlee Russell's story versus believing that she is not, in fact, telling the truth. And there is a whopping majority of people right now in our social media comment section, greater than 90%, who do not believe Carlee Russell's story. And that's based on just analytics that are unscientific and social media based, but it does help us get some clarity as to exactly how you're feeling out there. So we're going to start to take your hashtag HeyJB questions and comments here on social media, trying to parse through as many meaningful and thought provoking, if you will, comments, but then really the questions are what we're looking for. So I'm going to ask this question for our audience. What are your biggest questions going forward? Or if you want to share your thoughts as to the Carlee Russell story, you can do so. Just please keep it clean. Use hashtag HJB. Please keep it clean. Share your opinion in a respectful way. The family, of course, is still caring for Carlee Russell, who is safe with family. Again, she has the family has denied law enforcement the opportunity for more of an interview, another round of interviews. Reason being is because she's, according to her family, suffered through a traumatic experience. And so, look, we're going to try to keep things as kind and as respectful in our comment section, even though I know that there is a lot of frustration in our comment section. So much goodwill that was poured out in Central Alabama to find Carlee Russell, when so many people in our social media comment section do not believe that the abduction story is true. So let's go to the comment section. We're here in the Stream Center, and on this screen right here to my left, if you use hashtag HJB, that means that you want your comment section or your comment to be animated on screen like this. We're bringing in comments from Twitter, Facebook Live, YouTube Live, TikTok Live. Eddie wants to know who is in Tennessee that she knows. Has that been revealed? I did not hear that question asked, Eddie. The bus ticket to Nashville is interesting. Whether or not she made it to Nashville in that time is unknown. But the fact that she was Googling a way to get to Nashville, and for those who've never been to Nashville, I've been to Nashville. It's a great town, place to have a lot of fun on Broadway. It's just a great community there in Nashville, Tennessee. But also a place that if you want to just kind of get lost in the crowd, so to speak, Broadway in Nashville, it's not it's not Times Square, but it's very populated with tourists. So if you were looking for an opportunity to go somewhere, have some fun, and just kind of get lost in the masses, Nashville's not a bad place in relation to Central Alabama, not all that far away either. Sean Thompson, hashtag HJB. So what happens now? Well, the ball, so to speak, is now in the court of the Russell family. And I'll tell you exactly what's going to happen. As a reporter, I can share. I do now interactive work here at WFLA. But before, when I was a reporter for 5 years in Alabama, I can tell you exactly what's going on right now in Alabama. Every reporter in Alabama, and really all the national outlets too, network news, they're all trying to get the Russell family to speak. Because now we have all this information from law enforcement. They're saying, we want to hear from the Russell family. We want the next round of interviews. We want to get to the bottom of what happened. And because of Carlee Russell experiencing a traumatic experience, she says, they have been denied that opportunity. So every journalist, every reporter in Alabama is trying to get a hold of the Russell family and trying to get them to speak. And I know now this gets very competitive in the news world. I can speak from being in that world. It gets extremely competitive because now people are going to have more questions. Okay. And whoever gets, obviously, this interview with Talitha Russell, with the Russell family, with Carlee herself, that, of course, is going to be a significant next chapter of the story. But newsrooms are also being quite cautious, or at least the responsible newsrooms are being very, they're having conversations right now because based on what law enforcement is hinting at, if the story isn't true, they have to proceed with tremendous caution. So it gets highly competitive with an interview like this when they try to get a hold of the family. But sometimes with the family or with Carlee herself, it's done with a sense of responsibility. And I would hope that the questions and the way that the story is presented to the public, I just hope that it's all done responsibly. But I know that the next chapter, Sean, to answer your question, is to provide people with now the Russell side of the story. But at the same time, You know, the Russell family, I mean, you would hope that they're, you know, cooperating with law enforcement in addition to cooperating with the media. That's what you would hope, because you can hear it in the press conference. They very much want to talk to Carlee again, get these details right, and get to the bottom of what exactly happened. And they haven't been able to do so up until this point, Wednesday, past 4 o'clock. This is very interesting. We need to get a lawyer on here to answer this question. Casey wants to know, can they charge the person who hid Carlee with a crime? Where Carlee went remains unknown. So if you believe the abduction story, she is said to have been in an 18-wheeler or then in a house, if you believe the story. If you don't believe the story, then either she did an extraordinary job camping out in the woods, avoiding all the search efforts and the search parties, or she went somewhere and somebody aided her. And knowingly, because in Central Alabama, I know I was working the phones, trying to get a hold of people, talking with people about this story. The amount of people that were looking for her, businesses, church groups, individual community efforts that were organized. I mean, everyone was looking for Carlee. Everyone was looking for Carlee. And so if somebody did take her in, look, whether that person is held responsible is a big question, if you believe the story is not true. Linda wants to know, what is the distance between her house and where her car was? This is a great question. I don't have the answer to that question, but I know that she was within a few minutes of being home. So walking distance, you better believe it. Oh yeah. I can't say the exact number of feet. I can't give you latitude, longitude here, but I'm going to remove my jacket just because I've got a little warm here. But okay, so it's within a few minutes driving distance wise, right? So the idea, I mean, look, was she at a neighbor's house? I just, where exactly? This also provides us with context, you guys. It's very important to remind our audience of this. People were asking, my goodness, I was one of them on social media asking, when are police going to give an update? Law enforcement in Alabama, the Hoover Police Department, were giving Carlee the opportunity to heal from her traumatic experience and respond to their request for a second round of interviews so that they could go more carefully and meticulously, more carefully through what actually happened on Thursday night into Saturday night. That sounds to me exactly why we're getting this update on Wednesday and not Monday, because they're trying to get a hold of Carlee. The only one who can say for sure exactly what happened is Carlee Russell herself. So you're getting a lot of time elapsing between press conferences, and now we have a little bit of an idea as to why. Because the Russell family and Carlee herself, I mean, there hasn't been a lot of communication. And that, again, because of what they describe as a traumatic experience. But man, T Stuffsel. Hey T. Hashtag hey JB. What about the boyfriend who was so worried? Well, he's been posting on social media, so it'll be very interesting to see now. Look, this is now going to become this. Okay, who's going to post? Who's going to go release a video on TikTok? This is how these stories work. But be mindful of. I have to, and I'm going to say this with every story that we cover. It goes back years ago to Gabby Petito. It goes all the way to now. This is a PSA that is general with all the stories that we cover these days. When they reach a certain point, when everybody's talking about that story on social media, be careful of deliberate attention, click-seeking behavior on social media. Again, be careful, be wary, be on the lookout for deliberately intentional posts, shares, retweets, social media activity that is aimed to get your attention, follows, and just activity overall, just eyeballs, so to speak. It's this story, and it's every story that we cover here. People will use the fact that so many people are searching Carlee Russell on social media, on Google, as a means to lure you in, and fake accounts will pop up, even genuine accounts. People who are really behind these accounts, the actual people, will make social media posts just to for their own reasons, to get attention or to seek social media activity. Just be wary of that, folks. I try to. It's very important to me that we always remind our audience of that. It's something I take. It's just at my core something I really try to remind our audience of. Ask yourself, why is this person posting this? It's a fair question to ask of every social media post. Got to hydrate here, folks. I'm going to read some of your comments. Yeah, the lights are bright in here today. I think I was writing so fast that I worked up a sweat. That might be a first for me. Writing down my notes are just scribbles of nonsense. You won't be able to read them because I'm just writing so fast during that press conference. My goodness. Yeah, I mean, look, Tyler saying the red hair, the bald spot, describing a very familiar person. It does sound very. Look, be fair. The scene that Carlee Russell is describing sounds creepy, right? You're talking about, nothing against red-haired guys with bald spots, by the way. But, I mean, being blindfolded, being in an 18-wheeler, hearing a baby screaming, and having a woman play with your hair, a stranger play with your hair, someone who's perhaps been part of the abduction of you as an individual. It's just creepy. Just a creepy story. But creepy or not, the only thing that matters is whether or not it's true. And look, I'm reading your comments.
Carlee Smollett. Palmdale, no. Palmdale, was that where what happened in Palmdale? Refresh my memory. I remember something happening in Palmdale, but I can't remember off top. But we were talking about the Carlee Russell disappearance in Hoover over in Alabama. So the person she describes had red hair or orange hair. Sounds like she's trying to turn this into a MAGA situation. And if this, like the Jussie Smollett situation, that was a political ploy because Jussie Smollett was very intimately connected with Kamala Harris. They worked together on some campaign or policy initiatives. And Jussie Smollett was closely associated with these initiatives and with these campaigns. There's plenty of photos of Jussie Smollett with Kamala Harris at several different events, again, where they were pushing certain policy initiatives. So when the incident happened with Jussie Smollett, I automatically tied it to the Democratic administration because he tried to say that it was two Trump supporters or two MAGA supporters. Is my volume okay? Can you guys hear me? I'm just talking away. Okay, I think my volume is good. So yeah, the orange hair, that's very Jussie Smollett like. But what happened in Palmdale again? Okay, this is where he punched the woman. The woman got punched in the face. Okay. Yeah, I remember that. They had the babies, and they had the babies. The babies weren't in car seats. They got pulled over, and it went bad from there. Think about the Carlee Smollett. The Carlee Russell situation. I'm almost really believing her last name is Smollett. It's ridiculous. So if anybody wants to cam up, let me know. I'll drop the link, and we can definitely chop it up. And the bad part about it is I initially believed this story when they said this lady possibly was abducted. It just, my initial response without giving it any thought, I just was like, damn. You know, these people are getting bold. She's in Alabama. A lot of creepy things happened in Alabama, Mississippi over the last few months. There was the young brother out in Mississippi who was working, and he called his mom. And it kind of reminded me of that situation where the young brother was in Mississippi working, and he called his mom and said that there were some white boys or some white men chasing him in the pickup truck. And he said he had been having some issues with the people he was working with or working for. I'll have to Google that in just a second. But it reminded me of that, you know, somebody calling their family right before they got into some trouble. And that brother in Mississippi's body was found chopped up and discarded in several different locations. Yeah, they chopped his torso up, they chopped his arms and legs off, and I believe they chopped his head off. So initially, I did believe that Carlee might have been the victim of a kidnapping. And come on, y'all, I got 5 people watching. I need 5 likes. I need 5 likes. I need 3 more likes. Let me get that little bit. Come on. Tough crowd. So yeah, come to find out, this story got more holes in it than goddamn Swiss cheese. Root Trackers, greetings. I think I know that name from Twitter, if I'm not mistaken. Is that a fact, Root Trackers? I didn't hear that. Is that what you heard? That there was a truck driver called in seeing a toddler as well? Okay, I think you did come into my life. Okay, yeah. Absolutely. I remember you. Definitely. How you doing? You should come on and fill us in about the truck driver because I didn't hear that part of the story. Yeah, I love Angela, Sister Angela. I believe that's her name, Angela. Okay, Queen Amadea. I'm not sure if they mentioned that during the press conference. I was moving around doing things, so I might have missed some of the details in the press conference, but that's interesting. Angela Nirvana. So yeah, that's a new one on me. I'm gonna look that up right now. Are you on the West Coast, Root Trackers? Yeah, I'm trying to Google that now, see if there's anything that talks about that. Because I think the story is cap, personally. I think the way it unfolded, I was all in until she showed up walking back to the house on Saturday night. Just that seemed a little strange. And also, Carlee Russell, according to the officials, she actually Googled the movie Taken before her disappearance. And she also Googled Amber Alerts. So I believe it's cap. I believe it's cap. What do y'all think? Long Beach in the house. Yeah, I don't believe there was a child. I'm trying to Google and see if there's any reports of the truck drivers. Actually, it's that Carlee Russell reported the toddler, but it says that Carlee Russell searched. Let's go here. Can you guys see that? It says Carlee Russell searched movie Taken and Amber Alerts before her disappearance. So what do you guys think about that? What do y'all make about that? She be searching for Amber Alerts, says Carlee Russell, the Alabama woman who returned home on Saturday after she went missing for 2 days, searched for Amber Alerts and the movie Taken on her phone before her disappearance. I mean, we do know she disappeared. That's a fact. She disappeared. So she searched the movie Taken. She searched for Amber Alerts. So she was looking for some inspiration. She was looking for some ideas. But I don't think she thought it all the way through. So let's see. Russell also made searches related to bus tickets in the hours before she went missing. There were other searches on Carlee's phone that appeared to shed some light on her mindset. Durzis said, adding he would not share them out of privacy. They said Russell told police that she was abducted, and while the investigation is ongoing, we have no reason to believe there's a threat to public safety. Russell told police that she was taken by a male and a female when she stopped to check on a toddler that she reported on the highway. She stated when she got out of her vehicle to check on the child that a man came out of the trees and mumbled that he was checking on the baby. She claimed that the man then picked her up and she screamed. Russell called 911 to report a toddler walking down the highway before her disappearance. But the Hoover Police Department said in a press release on Tuesday that investigators have not found any evidence of a child walking on the side of the road. So I'm not really believing that there are reports from a truck driver stating they saw a toddler as well. Yeah, this is crazy. Police also previously said that they did not receive any calls to report a missing toddler. And I see a lot of people trying to, shoot her some bail and get her out of this predicament that she clearly put herself in. And I have no ill will towards Carlee, but there are consequences to these types of actions. I mean, you just cannot lie to the police, set off panic in the community, and then you have resources being diverted away from people who might actually be in need. So yeah, Carlee Russell, she Googled the movie Taken. She also searched for Amber Alerts, and she searches for bus tickets in the hours before she went missing. The math is not mathing. I have some concerns. Give me 1 second, guys. Give me 1 second. Who wants to come in? I'll drop the link. If you want to come up and give your theory, drop a 1 in the comments and I'll drop the link. Probably not going to stay live too much longer. I really just wanted to watch the press conference and see if they had made any developments, but yeah, so all signs are pointing to no toddler. And currently no suspects except for somebody with orange hair with a bald spot. Sounds like Donald Trump to me. Am I tripping? Or does it sound like she described a Donald Trump like figure, saying he had orange hair? I mean, she really didn't think this through. She really didn't think it through. You know? She didn't think this through at all, guys. And then she had just finished doing some work with another police department. I'm not sure in what capacity, but they were actually speaking very highly of the sister, saying that she, you know, she was professional and she really had her business together. So, but we know when it comes to affairs of the heart, and if she was trying to strike back at her boyfriend, all logic goes out of the window, especially for women. Especially for women. And they want to get back at a man. Yeah, all logic goes out the window. I'm sure she's a Democrat. I mean, she's black, ain't she? Most Democrats, most black people are Democrats. But I mean, come on, man. You just actually did a search for the movie Taken, and you did a search for Amber Alerts. You're a grown woman, first of all. I don't think they release Amber Alerts for grown women, only for minor children. But I guess she was, like I said, she was doing her research and she was looking for some ideas. She should have looked up what's the charge for a person. Yeah, Root Track, you're in the minority. You're in the minority. You're 1% of black people if you're not a Democrat. Even me, I'm still registered as a Democrat, but I haven't voted Democrat in years. Not on a presidential level anyway. I haven't voted Democrat since I voted for Barack Obama his first term. Yeah.
But this how they gave me, you know.
Yeah.
Through, you know.
That's what I'm saying. So your boss say anything.
Yeah.
So, babe, check it out. So Carlee Russell, I'm on live now. We just finished the press conference. She Google searched.
I sent it to you already.
Oh, Taken? Oh, I didn't even get a chance to watch because I was on live.
I just saw it. Everything.
Okay, yeah. I see it here.
Yeah.
She searched for the movie Taken. So what's that say?
Oh, I didn't see that part. I'll cut you off. I'm sorry. Oh, I saw the Google search, but Taken was
She searched Taken and she searched Amber Alerts.
Yeah, I saw that. Okay. Yeah, I sent you 2 posts, but the shade was what I wanted you to really see. Yeah. Everything. She gonna make us look all like blind ass.
Shh. Okay, babe. Yeah, I gave Obama the first term, I gave it to him. but I was quickly through with him. Like it didn't take long at all. He was actually the one, he was the damn one to wake me up. To how the Democrats play, or how they have been playing us for decades. Who coming in? So it says here that the Hoover police enlisted help from the U.S. Secret Service to analyze data from Carlee Russell's cell phone. They brought in the Secret Service, yo. Resources. She's going to end up like Jesse Smollett having to pay the city back. And they might give us some jail time because I believe it might be some felonies. Does anybody believe Carlee Russell had been abducted at this point? If you believe that Carlee Russell has been abducted at this point, please hit my line. I have a bridge in Brooklyn I want to sell you. I have a bridge in Brooklyn for you if you still believe Carlee Russell. And trust me, like I said, my initial reaction was to believe that she had possibly been abducted. It just, without thinking about it, it sounded plausible. And being that she was in Alabama, that also helped me to believe that she might have been abducted. There was a brother a couple of months ago, last year, he went missing in Mississippi. Yeah, I think it was last year. It seems like it was just yesterday, but the brother went missing in Mississippi. I'm going to actually pull that story up because it's stories like this one with Carlee Russell that takes away the resources from somebody who might actually need them elsewhere. You know? I'm trying to find this story about the brother in Mississippi. And that should have came up first. That should have been. Yeah, that's why I was wondering where did the sister get her information from. Yeah, I can't find this story. It's like they're burying this story about the guy in Macon. Not Macon, in Mississippi. Oh, no. Okay. Rasheem Carter, 25. Here's the story right here, guys. Does anybody remember this story about the black man in Mississippi who called his mom and said he was being chased by a truck full of white boys? Here it is right here. It says a black man was found dead after he told his mother he was being chased. Police said there's no reason to suspect foul play. Rasheem Carter's mother said that before he disappeared in October, he called in a panic to say white men were chasing him in trucks and hurling racial slurs. So this article was from March 2013, I believe, chased by white men hurling racial slurs, demanded a federal investigation Monday after local authorities said they had no reason to missing October 2nd after his mother said he had sought help from police and frantically called her to say white men in 3 trucks were pursuing him. That was the last day Carter's family heard from him. On November the 2nd, authorities said they found his remains in a wooded area south of Taylorsville, Mississippi. In a statement on Facebook a day later, the Smith County Sheriff's Department said it had no reason to believe foul play was involved, though the case was under investigation. Brother Rasheem Carter. On Monday, it says Carter's loved ones and their attorney, Ben Crump, slammed local authorities for stonewalling them for more than 4 months and for the initial determination saying they believe Carter was the victim of a brutal hate crime. This was a nefarious act. This was an evil act. Somebody murdered Rasheem Carter, and we cannot let them get away with this. So this is the situations where, when you cry wolf, moving forward, we already behind the 8 ball. As a people, we're behind the 8 ball. Yeah. So this is not a good look. And haven't heard anything about this case here. I need to look into this and see if there's any, what's the latest? Because let me look and see if there's any updates. Maybe I'll search for the last 30 days. Rasheem Carter. So this is what we have to do to get justice for our people. Came across this link here at change.org. We have to file petitions to get justice. We have to get 5,000 signatures on change.org in order to garner enough attention that somebody in the position of power might do something to seek justice for this young man's family and for this young man. So if Carlee Russell is indeed lying to the police and has lied to the public as well as her family, I would remind them of this case right here, because this is what we was thinking might be happening to her, that she might actually be in serious trouble and that her life might be on the line. Usually in situations like that, it doesn't end well. It doesn't end well at all. And so for her to hatch a plot to deceive the authorities, to, I guess initially deceive her family, to cause her family to make public outcry on the news, on social media, for search parties to be formed and for them to scour the area for resources to be put in play. Dogs, search parties, helicopters, whatever the mechanisms that they have at their disposal. These are resources that shouldn't be taken for granted. And for somebody to, fake an abduction in this manner, it just, I wouldn't care the race of the person, if they were white or black. A couple of years ago here in Georgia, there was a woman, I can't remember her name, but it was days before, it was a white woman, and days before she was to get married, she went missing days before her wedding. And when she was found, she said she was sexually assaulted and, she was kidnapped, sexually assaulted, yada, yada. Come to find out it was actually a lie. Possibly, I think she had cold feet. People are saying because of the spotlight. But this is the thing about kidnappers letting you go. Like if the spotlight comes on the situation in that case, they usually will kill you and dump the body somewhere and get ghosts, because if they let her go and she has a description, if she's seen them, she can give a description of them. So generally, a seasoned kidnapper, abductor, somebody who does this as if in a human trafficking ring, I'm not thinking that they would let her go and let her walk home. And the thing about it is, when we haven't been made privy to this information yet, but there were some of her neighbors saying they have footage of her on the Ring camera actually just walking casually down the street. And then when she came within a few yards of her mother's home, of her parents' home, then she started running frantically, flailing her arms. So, I mean, if you're trying to stick to your story, that's a good rebuttal, I guess. That's a good way of trying to explain it away and say, hey, it must have been because of the spotlight. Then they let her go. But if they got you somewhere in the trailer, I mean, these don't sound like people who are watching the news. If they're living out in the woods and they have you, I don't know, just like I say, the math ain't math. And hold on one second. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't have any bail to shoot Miss Carlee Russell. No. I don't have any bail for Shorty, for sis. I'm sorry. So yeah, Liam Neeson, I guess she was thinking Liam Neeson was going to come and rescue her. And her mom and dad seem like good people, you know. It's no, I don't want to say it's a reflection on them, but if they know she's lying and they continue to double down and help her to cover her tracks, then that's not a good look for them.
We brought you the story of Rashim Carter in Mississippi. He disappeared. He told the police and his mother he was afraid that there were a group of white men that were threatening him. And then they found his body in the woods, decapitated, body parts separated. Police said no foul play. That was weird. But then police also said it was possible for animal activity. And we checked with the death investigator who said 100% that was possible at that time, at that length of time in the woods. Rashim's the family wants a federal investigation into this. They are very upset about it. They actually have said this was an evil act through their lawyer, Ben Crump. This was an evil act. Somebody murdered Rashim Carter. The family just released
crazy
statement to the public.
You guys hear this?
Saying that Rashim told them that if anything should happen with that length of time in the woods, Rashim's the family wants a federal investigation into this. They are very upset about it. They actually have said this was an evil act through their lawyer, Ben Crump. This was an evil act. Somebody murdered Rashim Carter. The family just released a statement to the public saying that Rashim told them that if anything should happen, then definitely his boss was responsible. And they haven't produced that text. They haven't produced that evidence. But what that did was it set a mob in motion. An online mob has gone after that boss. That boss's name is Luke Clements, and Luke's family was targeted by the internet mob. There were death threats against Luke, against his wife, against his kids, his little kids, and there were rape threats made against Luke's wife. The whole Clements family has had to go into hiding at this point, now fearful of their life. All the contracts that they've had to stop. All those workers were laid off. And there is evidence that has surfaced that shows Luke could not have done this crime. I want to bring in Luke Clements, who is in hiding. He was Rashim's boss. He owns that company that hired Rashim to work in Mississippi. And Luke also is doing this interview with his attorney, Marco Mera, who is joining us as well live tonight. Luke, let me start with what's happened to you and your family and why you decided to get everybody and immediately go into hiding.
You know, after the national press conference, you know, all throughout the process of the Rashim case and all, you know, I've continuously, ever since he went missing, have received calls and always receiving things, you know, via the internet and social media. But once the national press conference hit the news, it just got relentless. You know, we started getting death threats. You know, it started being accusations made toward my wife and my kids. And then it was just relentless. I mean, they would call me every minute, every 2 minutes. They'd leave me messages until my voicemails filled up on my phone. Text messages were just horrific text messages, just stating some horrific things that they wanted to do to me and my wife and my children. They contacted, you know, different family members. Anybody who was associated with me has been contacted. And, you know, it just got to the point where I felt like it was the safest thing to do to be to just take my family out of the picture.
Let me read some of the text messages that you have received from this online mob. Okay, I'm going to start.
And if this man has something to do with Rashim Carter's death, and for him to come on the news seeking sympathy, boy, I tell you, cold piece of work.
Here, and there are some things I've had to obviously redact because they are so horrendous.
Yes,
you
ma'am.
and your family will suffer, and your kids will suffer for the rest of their life. The next text is, the guy who killed Rashim Carter is Stephen Luke Clements. Stop waiting on the police to give y'all justice. His wife's name is blank. And of course, they used the name. This next one is, you are being followed everywhere you go. What goes around comes around. This next one is about your wife, and it's a rape threat. I've had to redact it heavily. It says, that pretty little blank of yours will have blank, which is sexually explicit language, when your eyes roll to the back of your head. Don't get caught on here. The next text is about your children. It says, your children will be left on this planet with our race. You better pray to your white God that we have mercy on them. Luke, what have the police done about these threats to you and your family?
We've made contact with all the local law enforcement, the sheriffs and all in our county, and they're aware of everything that's going on. They've been very supportive. You know, I've definitely had a lot of support from the local law enforcement. And they've made continuous checks, you know, on our business and our properties and all of the areas that are locally. And they've also they've been very supportive as to talking to me and just checking on me and just making sure that everything was okay. It's just been it's really, I mean, it's unfortunate, you know, and we, you know, I want to find out what happened to Rashim, and I want to help any way we can, and we have, you know, we've made every effort to you know, address any of these accusations that have been made, and it's just unfortunate that you know, that it's just been a rough time.
And listen, Rashim's parents, his family's been on this program as well, wanting, you know, to seek answers. And at that time did not point the finger at you. But I do want to mention, Marco Mera, there's a collection of evidence that you've put together in terms of looking at everywhere that your client was, where Luke was while Rashim was seen on a deer cam, and text messaging between Luke and his employee, Rashim, and a lie detector test as well that I know you've said, you know, Luke has taken and passed. My question is, why do you think that Rashim's family wrote this? They said that there was a text that her well, she hasn't shown it, but she says that she has a text from her son saying, me and the owner of this company are not seeing eye to eye, Mama. If anything happens to me, he's responsible for it. What do you make of this coming from Rasheem Carter's family?
Sure. Well, first, we haven't seen it. I want to. I've asked for it. I'm hoping it's going to come. I believe and hope that law enforcement does have it. And if it says those words, then I'm sure there is some other explanation that we don't know of yet. But we also have a text string between Rasheem and Luke the very night that supposedly he had said this to his mom. And the text string, which I've given to you, Ashley, and is available, is very friendly. It talks about the work the next day. He didn't end up showing up, but work into the future. But what I did when Luke first came to me, I looked at him quite honestly with a jaundiced eye. I said, okay, if I'm going to help you, we need to prove innocence, a difficult thing to do. So I asked him literally on the phone, get me your phone records. He did. Get me employment records. He did. Get me records showing where you were that next day, October 2nd. He was at work 6:22 in the morning, didn't leave until 8:44 at night in a secure facility. He wasn't there when whatever happened to Rasheem happened to him. And then we ran him through a polygraph. Did you know anything about Rasheem's passing? No. Did you harm him in any way? No. Did you have anything to do with it or any knowledge of it? No. The problem with it is that even if Miss Tiffany, Rasheem's mom, didn't intend this horrible tidal wave of violence, it's there because in the internet, one little thing is taken as the truth and it can blow up and hurt people. And that's the